Anyways, that's why Melee will always be the best Smash Bros. It's kind of weirdly accurate though, isn't it? I don't know what it is, but it's a little bit too accurate. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be once again returning to r/justneckbeardthings. It's been a little while since I looked at this subreddit and I just felt like having a look at it. I don't know why, I just did. So let's have a look at all things neckbeard. Watching Shame on the airplane. Lolly next to me keeps looking at my screen. How do you discreetly watch a movie on the plane? Calling actual children lollies. Yeah, that's... I'm not happy about that. Don't like that. Don't do that. That's a child. That's not a lolly. That's a child. My ideal society is a fusion of Iran and Japan. It would have anime and Japanese girls, but those girls would be governed under Islamic law and wouldn't be able to talk back to the head of their household. The kawaii aspect combined with the female submissiveness would be perfect. You can smell this. You can smell all of these posts, but it's always the fetishization of Asian cultures. They always do that. They're fetishizing Japanese girls. They're fetishizing Iranian and Islamic girls. No. There's a reason that Iran is currently in a massive amount of civil unrest. It's because the people of Iran are really unhappy with how women are being treated. This ideal society is not the ideal society of anyone else, especially not the women. By the way, the trick with the pee volume also applies to women. The louder she pees, the bigger, wider, more sloppy her vagina. A good vagine creates a very decent and subtle sound. What in the name of bad biology is this? Is the context here that they're replying to someone saying that, like, the louder a dude pees, the bigger his penis or something? Because that's just false, straight up. The louder a dude pees depends on how badly he needed to pee, right? Everyone has loud and quiet pees depending on the scenario. It says nothing about the biology of that person. This is such a weird comment to make. I don't get what it is with neckbeards and loving talking about biology when they know nothing about the biology they're talking about. They just make things up and go like, this is fact. No, it's really not. There is a guy in my DMs that's just a little too nice and he seems boring. Oh, we're off to a good start. I found an exciting guy who is great at sex and makes me feel dangerous. We didn't use contraceptives and now I am pregnant with the baby of a guy who won't return my phone calls or texts. All men should have mandatory vasectomies. It's always the same. Neckbeards make up the same story every single time, right? They always do the, I'm just a nice guy, I was clearly too nice and boring. It's like, okay, but like being nice isn't a defining characteristic. If you were nice but you're boring, the issue is that you were boring. Like, you can be nice and interesting too. This is a real thing that you can be. And then they always do the like, oh, because a woman didn't end up with me, she's clearly going to get pregnant. Like, no. And you're also not going to be the hero that saves her if she does. She's not gonna come knocking on your door. Pants and a battle axe? Yeah, they made Princess Peach woke. Yup, Mario is going to be backseated in his own movie. Yeah, that's what worries me. Mario will be treated as a weak man, while Princess Peach will be the strong person with attitude who will solve problems. I hope I'm wrong, and that the woke culture doesn't contaminate this movie. I hope Nintendo hasn't allowed that to happen. Okay, well, first of all, the suit is literally her motorbike outfit from Mario Kart. So it's not like it's this woke new outfit, it's an outfit that she's had for years now. Second of all, she's literally the princess of a whole ass kingdom. I would hope that she was somewhat dependable, right? I'd hope that she's somewhat of a strong person. She's leading an entire kingdom during a war. Mario, right? Literally just a plumber who's not even from this world. He's a regular ass human plumber. Of course he's not going to be as dependable as an actual ruler of a country in a fantasy film. It's not woke. It's just common sense. Like, he's gonna have to train, right? And someone's gonna have to teach him. Is it gonna be Toad? Is Toad the badass to teach Mario here? No. So who does that leave? Peach. But it's woke. Bruh. Me, My crush for whom I was fighting for a month with a random guy she met yesterday at the club. It's the way they word it, not just the facts that the post exists, but the way they word it. But like, I'm gonna have to let you down softly, but it's not gonna be very soft, okay? If you were fighting for her for a month, you are not compatible and she's not into you, okay? If you get rejected, you don't keep fighting. That's not going to change their mind. They're not going to magically become compatible or magically become interested in you. If you're fighting for a month, she's not interested. The first time she says no should be the time you stop. You should respect her decision and respect the fact that she doesn't want to be with you, instead of harassing her for a month and then whining when she meets someone that isn't you. Move on. During sex, who's supposed to give her head first? The guy or the girl?
Of all sexual activity, blowjobs should make up about 50%, with the other 50% men shouldn't give head really at all. Maybe only if he really likes it and she is tied up in a humiliating position, etc. The point is, he is supposed to do it for himself, only because he likes it for himself.
Posted by Alpha Masculinity, the guy who's never been in a sexual relationship by the sounds of it. Sex is for both people. It's kind of the point. You shouldn't be absolutely refusing to do anything for your partner because you want to hoard all the pleasure because you're an alpha man. If you think that being selfish makes you an alpha and you're going around telling people you're an alpha because of that, newsflash, that doesn't make you an alpha. It makes you an asshole. A real man, a real good person would be able to make their partner feel good too. LeMayo, you don't need sex. You don't die without sex. You also won't die without your hobbies, your avocado toasts, your freedoms, and your human rights. You should funk off to a Russian northeastern village. You won't die there. Point is, people seek a pleasurable life. Hope you do so as well. LeMayo, of course you pulled the avocado toast line, just like everyone without an argument. For your information, I will die without my rights, considering I'm a gay woman. But go off, man. Your lack of sex with your friend is not equivalent to the loss of basic human rights. Ah, the classic nice guy. I'm gonna die if I don't get sex from women. But also, I just want to point out this guy says you won't die without your hobbies, right? But buddy, why are you making this equivalent to a hobby? Because you wouldn't know that. You haven't got that experience, because for something to be a hobby, it has to be something that you do often. Can't be a hobby if you've never done it. You have to do it for it to be your hobby. Girls only go for douches these days, starter packs. Women, that room. Real men go their own way. Okay. Yeah, of course, Andrew Tate and Joe Rogan are gonna be there. No deodorant and porn. Yep, sounds about right. Sounds about right. Andrew Tate is honestly like one of the cringiest dudes. Andrew Tate is like the most like, if I pretend to be confident, people will buy it. And he acts like, oh, alpha. He does all the alpha sigma male BS, right? I remember a few months ago, before he was really taking off, people were accusing him of faking the facts that he lived in a penthouse like massive apartment, and he was getting so riled up and like showing off this apartment and being like, I live here, this is mine. And it's so funny because his whole thesis is that he's like this badass who doesn't care about anybody, and yet he got riled up so easily that he was making response TikToks. He's such a little baby. And somehow on top of that, he's managed to convince all of these other dudes that obsessing over him makes them alphas. Like, these people are out here going like, oh, I'm an alpha, I follow Andrew Tate, and then someone else goes, no, you're not. And they go, what color's your Lamborghini? And it's like, bruh, so basically you're simping over another guy's Lamborghini and you think that makes you an alpha? If there are consent from both sides, what's the issue here? The government being in people's lives and none of you complain is too weird. Minors can't consent, especially 9-year-old kids. Of course they can. I remember making informed decisions when I was 9. I studied for tests and write a 10-page essays. What are you talking about? Bro, being able to study for a test at 9 years old is not the equivalent of being able to determine that an adult who is more mature and smarter than you is emotionally or mentally manipulating you into doing things you are not ready to do. Those are two very different things. I studied for tests when when I was 9 years old. Every single week at the age of 9, I wanted to be a different career when I grew up. 9-year-olds are not mentally prepared to make these decisions for themselves, and adults that want them to are manipulating into making those decisions. A child can't make that decision. They're not mature enough. They don't know the consequences. An adult does, and a child is very easily manipulated by an adult for many reasons, mostly the fact that they're an immature child. And the final post. Have seen a handful of marriages fall apart because wife gets captured by the internet and becomes libtarded and then starts to hate the husband for existing. Half were stay-at-home moms. This one's incredibly telling because they've just unintentionally just dobbed themselves in with this post, okay? So women find the internet and that starts to cause a marriage to fall apart for the husband just existing. What this reads to me is this wife is in her first marriage, but she doesn't really know that a lot of the things that her husband does that are not okay are not okay. Not being in the internet and not communicating with a lot of other married women, she believes that this is something that every woman has to put up with, right? So the husband not doing anything around the house, the husband treating her wrong, the husband forcing her to do things she doesn't want to do, the husband not giving her anything in return, are all things that are not okay in marriages and should not be okay. But she just assumes that every marriage is like that. She gets the internet and starts talking to other married women who don't have these issues and don't put up with them. And she realizes, hey, I don't actually have to put up with the things my husband is doing that are not okay. I'm going to do something about that. And then these neckbeards go, oh, the internet is turning women against men. No, it's turning women against assholes. And that's where I'm going to end the video. I hope you have enjoyed, everybody. If you want to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click the join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. Special thank you to all of my YouTube members and patrons who do support the channel. All of your names are on screen right now. Thank you so much, everybody. It helps so much. It means so much. You guys are all amazing people. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.